Hey guys, Hecon's here with another Dragonflight Goldmaking guide. It's another Monday night, the last day of week 4, and we are 1 month into Dragonflight. In today's video, I'll be going over some of the methods I employed to make gold this past week, as well as showing you guys my profession builds on a few of my alts, since a lot of people have been asking about that on Discord and during my Twitch streams. Starting out on my Horde Hunter first, we are still moving hundreds of the Crimson Combatants, Jeweled Signets, and Amulets each week. Prices have gotten much lower though on a lot of my realms. The map prices have dropped substantially as well though, making the crafting cost probably close to 200 gold each. I believe the Rousing Eye are sitting at around 80 gold each right now, and the Sapphires are bouncing between 20 to 30 gold. On this tune, I've also been shuffling the Faded Fortune cookies, so I'll be showing you guys my setup for that. I've gotten it fairly well optimized. I was getting crafting costs close to 70 gold each, using conservative numbers. I was also selling these for close to 200 gold at the beginning of the week, but the prices have come down to around 100 gold. A lot of people seem to be doing the same shuffle. Should have a lot of other sales on the Faded Fortune cookies on the later pages. I think we sold probably close to 1 million gold worth of cookies during the past week. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and loot the sales. Hunter has 1.24 million right now in our bags. You can see all the cookie sales pass by. Selling in big chunks as well. Lots of cookie sales. Sold some gliders as well. It's another nice item to flip. Had a bunch of expired stuff on, looks like the second page. Another 66k on the last page. So yeah, total gold looted was 2.175 million. Here's our data for our Faded Fortune cookie sales from the past 8 days. Total quantity sold, 16,430. Average price, 129.2. And then total prices, 2.1 million. You can see the prices get kind of low the last couple of days, close to 100 gold. But our crafting cost is much lower now, so we're probably making 20 to 30 gold on each of these. You can see much higher prices during the week. And at the beginning of the week, they were close to like 170. Looks like we got a bunch of sales at like 180, 190 as well. I think back here, our crafting cost is a little bit higher. Probably closer to like 90, 200 gold. Still doing pretty well with these. So now I'm going to show you guys my setup. Here's my cooking setup on the Hunter. Still just using the uncommon tool and accessory. The Chef's Smooth Rolling Pin, as well as the Wilder Claw Chef set. Also only using a rank 2 enchant on there. So if you really want to min-max, you would go after the rare quality tool and accessory. And you'd likely want to get a rank 3 enchant. Don't actually know if Resourcefulness is the best one to use for cooking, but I went with that and threw rank 2 on the rolling pin. As far as the Fated Fortune cookie craft, you're going to need one Fated Fortune card, which comes from an inscription. You can also grab it off the auction house if that's going to be cheaper for you. Also have the 3 cocoa powders, which comes from the vendor. 5 pastry packets, which is another vendor item. And then 2 of the Silken Gem Dust. The Fated Fortune card and Silken Gem Dust is what you want to min-max and try and optimize. And that way you can bring the crafting cost of the Fated Fortune cookies down and make your profit margin bigger for the sale of the fortune cookie. So I did set up a couple of vaults to be my designated prospectors on my main realms, but from a bit of testing, I found that buying cheap gems and crushing those for the gem dust was much more cost effective than buying the ore to prospect. However, if you have an optimized setup for prospecting and are fishing for rank 3 diamonds, it may still be worth prospecting everything yourself. You can sell or use the diamonds, then use any of the leftover lower quality gems for the gem dust for the fortune cookies. I did also set up a couple of vaults to be my designated millers and ink crafters by going into Flawless Inks and Understanding Flora. Maxing both of these talents is a must, as Flawless Ink gives multi-craft grants up to 50% extra inks as the capstone bonus, as you guys can see here. Understanding Flora improves your skill, resourcefulness, and milling speed. The latter is very useful if you plan to shuffle a lot of herbs. If your plan is also to craft the Fated Fortune cards on the same alt, it may be worth putting some points into Perfect Practice as well for the added resourcefulness while crafting. For my profession tool, I went with the quill with multi-craft on it, and then I did also throw a resourcefulness enchant on there, just to rank 2. Lastly, when you craft your cards, make sure to flip some for extra copies of the recipes. You can throw these up in the auction house as well for a bit of easy gold. We're taking a look at my monk now. A lot of the gold that I made this past week on this tune, as well as my hunter, isn't captured by the mailboxes, as I have been filling work orders on both jewel crafting and leatherworking. I do have the elemental lariat recipe on both realms now, and I've been making a few 100,000 gold each day from tips and commissions. I'll show you guys my talent build for both JC and leather after looting this mailbox. It's a nice flip on the leather recipe. I actually grabbed 2 of those, one to learn and one to flip. Couple of Cygnus sells at 20k. A lot of them are pretty low though. Still making a lot of gold off of them though. It's Mist of Pandaria crafted gear. Looks like those are still selling. I think the Mage Tower's still down. Must be someone leveling or something. I think it's a knowledge point thing. Looks like I had some expired auctions here. Yeah, only 456k looted so far.
I cannot carry anymore.
Another 22k. Yeah, not a good week for my monk. Here's my jewel crafting setup on the monk. Still need to pick up an accessory and a tool here. Missing out on plus 10 skill. Rare quality is plus 10 instead of plus 6 for our tool. And then the accessory is plus 6 instead of plus 0 to our skill. Still managing to hit 279 skill for the Lariat craft with 27% inspiration, which actually puts us over. If we do hit that, can actually get that inspiration closer to 30% if I use the incense. And this is what my build looks like. 30 points into setting, got that maxed out. 30 points into jewelry. 0 points into enterprising. I do have that other ult for prospecting that I can use, so no need to waste any points here. 0 points into faceting as well, since I'm not doing gems. And then I did max out toolset mastery for the plus skill. Pretty big since that's to all of our crafts. And then I'm in the process of maxing out inspiration right now. About 15 points out from that. So I can guarantee the rank 4. For the inspiration procs, I can get a rank 5. Can also do that with a primal infusion. Can't guarantee the concentrated primal infusion yet at rank 5. So we'll probably need to start putting points into that necklaces. Get that maxed out so we can do that. But at the moment, I'm not even using a primal infusion next, so won't have to worry about it for a couple weeks. Here's my setup for leatherworking. Still only at 82 out of 100. So I don't have the mail armor crafting unlocked. 0 points into primordial on this tune. Did put 20 into leather armor crafting so far. Haven't decided which path I want to take first. But most of my points went into this. Leatherworking discipline for the +1 skill to all of our crafts. I did also go... Oh, I think I went bonding and stitching for the accessories, because I did grind out rep on this tune for the recipes. So I'm going to get that maxed out. And then maxed out inspiration as well. I think the other two we can probably ignore. Start focusing and putting points into leatherworking. Figure out what I want to do here. Do still need to get my leatherworking maxed out though. Hopefully find some work orders and stuff in the upcoming week. Here's my jewel crafting setup on the hunter. Pretty much the same as my monk. 30 out of 30 for setting and jewelry. Have 0 points into enterprising and 0 points into fascinating as well. Making most of my gold from laureates. Just finding buyers in trade chat as well as just work orders from the table. Inspiration is a bit lower on this tune since I don't have very many points into the inspiration talent. Still pretty good though. With the instance, I can probably get that up to 27 or 28%. And I can guarantee rank 4 on both realms and proc the rank 5. Here's my leatherworking setup on the hunter. So like the monk, we went pretty heavy into the leatherworking discipline. 30 out of 30 for discipline. 25 out of 25 for bonding and stitching. Took that on this tune mostly for the crafting bows and not the accessories like we did for the monk. And then so far I have 5 wins into the inspiration talent, but the plan is to work on that next. Also went mail armor crafting instead of leather armor crafting on this tune, since I do wear mail on the hunter and leather on the monk. I think that made sense. Did also go pretty heavy into primordial leatherworking on this tune. 35 out of 35 for primordial leatherworking, and then 25 out of 25 for bestial primacy. Mostly because I wanted to spec into bows. So you do get the Bow of the Dragon Hunter's recipe at when you unlock this talent. And then you do also get Fang Adornments at once you get 20 points in. So I'm 252 skill at a 280 at the moment. Do actually need better equipment for leatherworking. Actually need to craft the bow for myself as well. We should be getting our 3rd spark tomorrow, but I will still need to farm out the Primal Chaos. Actually use the first one for the Laureate on this tune. So yeah, the plan is to farm out the mats probably this upcoming week and craft that bow. And then I'll need to do probably one more craft to cap our leatherworking. I've been crafting bows for other hunters as well on this realm. Got a lot of my skill points from that. Pretty decent gold as well. This tune is doing something completely new this week. I've started to flip these recipes as I've noticed that sometimes the prices get low and it is easy to reset. In the past 3 days, I've sold close to 1.5 million gold worth of recipes, and I'd estimate that over 90% of that is profit. I'm not going to go over every recipe, but I'll show you guys some of the TSM purchase data for these, just to show how lucrative it's been. The Kazagrai Fisher Fiend, I picked up 2 of these at 75k each. I learned one and flipped one within a day for 475k, or 400k profit. Inferious Hide, I picked up 15 at 3.5k average price, or 53k total, and sold one for 55k and another for 23k so far. Inferior Scales, I picked up 16 at a little bit over 1k each, and we sold one for 38k today. Inferior Wildercloth Bolts, I grabbed 21 of these at 2.8k average, and we've sold 5 so far at 38k each. All of these flips have similar margins. You may also notice that these are all the PvP recipes. These are much easier to flip as the raid drops are still very expensive on most realms. Here's my banker on one of my main realms. Still doing the same thing as last week. Selling all of our Crimson gear as well as the Dark Moon decks. There's been some questions about how I'm making gold with the Dark Moon deck flip, so I'll explain after we loot this mailbox. Looks like I have around 1.2 million on page 1, and we're starting out with 2.4 million in our bags. Total gold collected was 1.7 million on this tune today. The way I have it set up is to have the 4 aces from each of the decks as well as the Darkmoon deck itself favorited. This way I can tell if it's worth buying all the cards off the auction house, combining them into a deck, then selling the deck for more than I paid for all the cards. The 2 through 8 should be very cheap usually, so buying all of these should be a couple thousand gold at most, which you can add to the cost of the ace. A lot of people do not know that you do not need to have inscription to combine the cards into decks, so they buy the deck off of the auction house even if buying the cards is almost always cheaper. This trick has made me millions, not just this expansion, but in prior expansions as well. On this ROM, you can see that I'm sold out of everything except for the Darkmoon deck Rhyme. I'd say the Watcher or Earth is worth restocking, as there's almost a 30k margin on that. Inferno or Fire could be good as well. The margin on that looks to be around 20k. A little bit under 400k on this ROM. You can see I'm using the same strat on this ROM with the Darkmoon decks. Looks like we sold 2 of them earlier today for a little bit under 55k each. Just buying all the cards off the auction house, making the deck, and selling the deck for more than you paid for the cards. Pretty simple strat. Did also sell a Faded Fortune Cookie recipe on this ROM. Actually sold a couple, it looks like. Definitely worth flipping cards on different realms as well if you have Scribe set up. Go ahead and loot these sales now. Another one of my realms. A little bit under 400k like the last realm. Had some really nice sells on the rings though. Looks like that might have been like Tuesday or Wednesday. Sold a bunch of rings at 25k. 23 after the auction house cut. Couple of decent sales on trinkets as well. Looks like we sold one yesterday for almost 30k. Everything else is kind of low though. Still pretty decent profits on all the crafted gear. Probably had to do a big restock later today. Have a couple more bankers to check, but this will be the last one we'll do for the video. It's mostly Crimson sales here as well. A little bit over 200k. Not too bad, I guess. That's going to be it for today's video. The plan for the upcoming week is to work on the other professions and get those set up for gold making. I'll make a separate video for those builds during the week, and likely stream most of it over on Twitch on days when I'm not raiding. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and as always, I would like to thank Nish, Lachlan, and Mauro for your support over on Patreon. Hope you guys all have a great reset, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Late.